From Studio A, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Patric Olsen with Carfax joins us with the latest trends in used vehicles. Plus, we have the events calendar and the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with David Ainsley filling in for Mike. Kind of. We have King Conrad.
No, everything's working.
King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. Yep. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And you know, we've got a special guest that I wanted to get on right away because we don't want to take up too much of his time because here's a busy guy.
Busy.
Patric Olsen with Carfax. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. You know, I went to the Carfax website this morning just to kind of see what you guys had going on. I did not know that you now have find used cars, and you can go through the Carfax website to take you to a Carfaxed used car that's for sale.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we work with dealers all over the country, and the best part about looking for used cars on Carfax is every listing on our site comes with a free Carfax for that car. So in an age where used cars cost way more than they ever have, it's more important than ever to understand the full history of that car, where it's been owned, how many miles are on it, where it's been kept, is it Arizona or is it Maine? And to be able to get that information for free when you're looking at a car, hugely valuable.
What about certified used cars? I read a story today that apparently there are dealers now that are going to have certified used cars that aren't necessarily their brand. Have you heard this?
Yes, there are a lot of dealers across the country that do their own certification. They will set up their own process of, usually 100 plus point inspection. They'll get their own extended warranty for a limited period of time. Usually it's anywhere from 6 months to a couple of years. Usually there's a mileage cap for that. And those are usually, pretty well-maintained cars that dealers are looking after. On the flip side, they can cost you a little bit more. But if you want peace of mind, certified cars can help.
So what are the latest trends that you're seeing on Carfax? When you guys get an inquiry about a particular car, do you track the particular brand and make, model, year, all of that sort of thing?
Well, I would say that when we look at any car, when we look at every car that has a VIN, right? So every car since 1981, we have information on at some level, all the way including cars that, are salvaged or no longer in operation. We have, details on that. So we're tracking every car that way. And the problem, though, is that we only know what people report. So if there's a guy who is constantly changing his own oil, doing all of his own work, it's hard for us to understand and track that because he's not dealing with the service shops that we deal with or dealing with the dealerships that we deal with. But for most people who go to, get their oil changed or who go and get their major work done at a body shop or a service shop, we certainly have our ability to tap into that. We have more than 60,000 service shops that we work with.
So Carfax, you have dealers, or shall we say service centers, that actually are Carfax notified, where they
partners.
Partners. Okay, that's a good word to use. And so if I'm a car a repair facility and I want to be part of the Carfax family,
mm-hmm.
How does that work? I mean, do I call you on the phone and say I want to be a Carfax guy?
Well, hopefully we've called you first to suggest it to you. But what I would say is, and the value prop for your service center's customers is that the better it's tracked, the more valuable your car is. Right. So if you keep track of all your oil changes, all your major work, you talk about when the timing belt was replaced, that adds value to your car because the next guy who wants to buy it, and there's almost always the next guy who wants to buy it, will see that as knowing that that's work he doesn't or she doesn't have to do, right? So we estimate that on average, having good records for your car is worth about $2,000 to the value of your car.
Oh yeah.
Not having those records, it becomes more of a crapshoot.
And Austin recently bought the Nissan Rogue.
Austin, your son?
And, my son. And we got the Carfax report. And the thing I was impressed with was that truck was serviced by a Carfax reporter. a Carfax partner. So I knew exactly what had been done to the vehicle each step along the way, including the major engine work that was done on
Yeah.
it.
The
That
mileage
was all
increments and
reported
things,
in.
yeah.
So I was pretty impressed. I knew Carfax had gotten some repair and maintenance information, but this was extremely detailed.
And my question is, we have natural disasters, we have floods, hurricanes, and things.
Yes.
So you're dependent or relying on the dealerships, the reporters, or the insurance company to verify and certify a vehicle once a flood happens?
I would say some of all of that, right? So we definitely have a flood watch for free on Carfax.com. If you go to our flood damage page, you can check your VIN to see if it's ever been reported as having been damaged in a flood. So the problem, as you well know, is there are some states that don't include a flood totaled field on their title, and sometimes unscrupulous buyers will buy a car that's been tagged flood in one state, retitle it in the state that doesn't identify flood damage, and then try to sell it.
Oh.
But we try to track all of those flags as they move along, so we can warn people about, previous flood damage.
Right. It was a flood damaged vehicle in Texas in 2017. You're buying it in 2022, and it's gone through 2 states to basically wash the title. And yes, this is a flood damaged vehicle. That's why it's important to go to Carfax and get that information, because your title probably might not say anything.
What are the biggest searches that are going on right now for used cars on the? What do you have more inquiries on? Are they SUVs, sedans, off-road vehicles? How do you drill it down?
Well, I would say right now we're definitely seeing a ton of interest in just better fuel economy, which of course, with gas at $5 a gallon. The problem with that is that it's running headlong into the American desire to be in an SUV and forget cars, right?
Right.
And I remember back in 2008 when people were panic selling their pickup trucks and SUVs, the last time we had a gas price spike. We seem to have forgotten that lesson. But now things that are fuel efficient are definitely going up. Now, on the plus side, there are more SUVs and trucks that are more fuel efficient, right? The new Ford Maverick, for example, with its hybrid engine, gets upwards of 40 miles per gallon. And now the problem is they're so scarce because of the chip shortage that they're hard to get your hands on. But we definitely see at the moment just a ton of interest in better performing engines as gas prices remain high.
What style of vehicle is the most that you see on Carfax?
Yeah,
SUV.
SUV.
Yeah, SUV far and away. Yeah,
mid-size,
anywhere from subcompact all the way up to Suburbans and Tahoes. They're all hugely popular. I mean, it's a runaway.
Yeah, and you say that you guys certify cars back to the 80s. How early? 81?
I think the 17 digit VIN came into effect in 1981. So anybody with any vehicle with a 17-digit VIN, and we don't certify them. Let's be clear. Any certification comes from the automaker, comes from a dealership.
We just
report on the data we have about that VIN.
Yeah.
So we are not in the business of certifying cars. We provide information, and a lot of it. We have something more like more than 25 billion records that we can reference.
Wow.
And, billion with a B, that we can reference when we're talking about cars.
Well, and the good thing about it is you are so respected in the field that you see all of these advertisements on television and social media are, we are Carfax, we'll give you the Carfax, your commercials, people understand those, but that shows the value in what Carfax provides the used car market.
If I'm in the market for a used car, how much does it cost me to go to Carfax and search VIN numbers? Let's say I'm looking at 6 vehicles now. I've picked them all out, and I want to put these VIN. Do you charge it by the VIN, or can I have like a package deal where I can get all 6 of them?
No, that's a great question. So whenever you're looking for a used car, we sell them in packs of 1, 3, and 6. So if you get just one, it's going to cost you $40. But if you're serious about looking for cars, you're probably going to, want to look under the hood of more than just one. So if you get 3, it's going to cost you $60, which is basically $20 a pop. Or if you get 6, it's $100, which is about 16 and change per report. So certainly the more you buy, the less expensive it gets.
And what would you recommend? I guess I could ask Conrad this. Okay, so I've drilled it down. I've looked at my 6. I've picked one, and it's a Carfax. It's got a clean Carfax. Everything looks good on it.
Good maintenance history.
Good maintenance history. It's got 100,000 miles on it. I want to make double sure. Would you recommend that I take it to somebody that's knowledgeable about the car and have them put it up on a lift?
Always. Carfax is one tool, and an important tool, but it's just one tool in buying a car. You definitely want to take, I have been burned when I have forgotten to do this. I bought a used car and I did not take it to my mechanic, have it checked out. In hindsight, I really wish I had. In fact, it probably cost me a couple $1,000s for not doing that. But I would pay get a mechanic you trust, someone you know. They usually charge around $100 to do it. It is money well spent. I bought one Ford Escape back in the day. I took it to my mechanic. He said it needs to have A, B, and C done. I went back to the dealer and said, I like your price. If you do A, B, and C for me for free, I'll buy your car. He said, sure, I'll do that. And, there it went. But I would always have a trusted mechanic take a look at it before you buy it, because things can happen between the last report to Carfax and the time you're buying a car. So I would make sure that somebody, and plus mechanics can see where you can't. Your point about putting it up on the lift, I'm way too old to climb under a car. So, you definitely want someone who can lift it up for you and see the things you can't see.
Yeah, because Carfax provides the data. You still need eyes and hands on to give you the opinion of today, what's happened to the car. So,
Well, even though all of the service work has been done, you might have a leaking oil pan
that has never been addressed.
Correct. Yeah. And that could be major money, well, relatively speaking, to have a car pan, resealed. Yeah.
The other thing too is, in this age of buying online, I'm a firm believer in, you got to drive it, right? You got to see if those seats are comfortable for you. You've got to see if the way you can reach to the controls works for you. There are too many people who see the pictures like, oh, I had a friend of mine who said, I really want to get a Ford Bronco. And I said, they're fun to drive, but they're like the Wrangler. They're rough on the road, and it's very boxy. So in the wind, it gets blown around. They're like, I had no idea. It just looked cool to me. And you got to get in the car and you got to test drive it. And you got to get it up to freeway speed.
Well, it's a big step up to get in, and maybe not everybody wants to make that big step up to get in.
Yeah, and that's why you date before you get married.
There is that. Yeah, and to that end, I really, it just drives me insane to see these big box used retail stores like a Carvana.
Oh yeah.
Where we'll order the car, we'll bring it to you, or if you want
to pick up your used car at the same time, and now they have your used car, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. You can't get it back.
Yeah. And now, do those retailers, do they use Carfax? Do these cars come with Carfax?
It depends on the retailer. Some of them do partner with us, some of them don't. The one thing I will say, for some of these guys, they have wisely built in a return policy where you have anywhere from a couple days to a week to return them. But that being said, I'm a believer in test driving before I buy, and particularly on used cars, of the actual model, right? Because you don't know if the person before you thought they would love, take their Nissan Versa off-roading, or if they, did something else that they shouldn't have been doing with their car. So
their Nissan, I can only imagine. Yeah, my teenage son that just got his driver's license wanted to see what it would do off-road.
It's got 33-inch mudders on it. Yeah. So we've got a lot of auctions. There's the hot rod car auctions, the Barrett Jacksons, the Meekums that go on. Are you affiliated somehow with any of those? I mean, do they report as well? I mean, or can they?
I know that many auction houses use our Carfax reports in determining what they're going to pay for a car when they get it. I don't know that specifically on partnerships with any of them, but I know that we're used throughout the industry. That we are absolutely seen as a linchpin of the industry.
Do you have any competition?
Yes, Experian has a vehicle history report product as well, but there's not a ton of people in the space. It's tough to get into it, and it's tough to acquire the amount of data points that we've acquired. And so We definitely haven't seen a lot of other people get in. It's a pretty tough field to get into.
Well, I mean, and you guys have been doing it long enough and have refined it over the years to the point where there's more information in there that I even know how to discern. Yeah. And so it's Carfax.com.
It is Carfax.com. You can get, we have all and the thing is, it's not just for when you buy it. So part of what I oversee is the research pages where we've got tons of good information on everything that's in a car, good photos. So we can help you make that list and help you figure out what you want to pare down on that list before you get to the VIN level in the used car listings. But we also have the used car listings. We also have right now the most valuable tool is probably our history-based value, rather than other competitors who tell you just at the year, make, model level. We tell you for your car with its mileage and its service history and its extra features and whatever else is on there. In the market where you live, we can tell you what that car is going for today. And I can tell you that used car prices are way up. And, now the problem is whatever you replace it with is probably also costs more than it used to. But for people who are looking to unload a car, now is a great time to do that. Make sure you get the right value for it though. And don't be stuck with something that isn't truly specific to your car.
So with what we opened up the conversation with, what cars are people searching for? And you talked about now they're all looking for more fuel economic cars. Do you see the market on the full-size trucks and SUVs at least settling down, maybe not retreat from its high levels it is,
or diminish,
but as the market begins to fill with those vehicles, do you think that's going to soften up?
I think prices have hit a plateau and in fact started to decrease a little bit. I think it's really going to depend just on the, how the economy does. We definitely saw more interest in Carfax. Every time there was a stimulus that went out, we saw people jump to buy a car. It's been a while since we've had stimulus. It's been a while now. Most people have already gotten their tax refund. So it's going to be interesting to watch as it goes along. At some point, they'll solve the chip shortage and the new car shortage won't be as bad as it was. And that will ultimately also alleviate the used car supply issue as well. But I think prices are fairly stable now. I think consumers are taking a bit of a wait and see if they aren't going to come down. And if they don't have to buy it, if there's not a trigger, right? The car broke down or they're having another kid or whatever. I think people are just playing it safe right now. But I think we are starting to see some prices come back to normal.
Patric, we thank you so much for taking the time out of your Saturday morning to join us. Great information, Carfax.com. Hope to check in with you very soon again.
Thanks, guys. It was a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Patric Olsen with Carfax. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. That was informative.
Yeah, very much so. And they are definitely the industry leader, not because they've been doing it the longest, but the amount of data they provide.
You said billions, in the billions. And the question I was going to ask is that, yes, if the prices are leveling off and in some cases coming down, you still got that caveat of the gas going up.
Oh, yeah.
So, that probably reflects big on what they report as well.
My suggestion would be don't do anything right now.
Yeah.
Just hang tight with what you got unless you absolutely have a complete bomb and you need a new engine in it or something. Unless there's something catastrophic that's happened to the car. Hang tight. I think at the end of the year, we'll have a much better idea of where
what's
car,
going on. Because right now, it's high.
It is high. It's too high.
It's higher than Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
there you go.
That's some tall
time now
there.
for some of the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Ford Motor Company said Thursday, recalling 39,000. Now, in the overall scheme of things, 39,000 vehicles isn't a big deal, but
Except
after reports of 16 thermal events, fires, and has advised owners to park their vehicles outdoors and away from structures until a fix is completed.
Because they don't know what's causing the fires.
The recall, which covers some 21 model year Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator vehicles, was prompted as an engine compartment fire could occur while the vehicle is parked or being driven, even with the ignition off, the number 2 U.S. automaker said, saying. This year, Ford has issued 30 U.S. recalls covering 3.5 million vehicles, the most of any automaker.
It's like
16 events in 39,000 vehicles is huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge.
It's the exhaust tips, I think.
It's
Yeah,
the
Mars,
Terminator.
The Terminator. So what you do is you go to safercar.gov. It'll come up a little box that says VIN number. You type in your VIN number, which you can find on your insurance
All
card.
17 digits.
If you have insurance.
Yeah, well, there's that. We assume that the people that watch this show have insurance.
Yeah.
And you type that in there, and it will tell you whether or not your car or truck or SUV is under recall.
And that's not a one and done. That's something you need to do 2 or 3 times a year as recalls get released. Check your car often.
The easiest way to remember that is when your car insurance is due every 6 months.
I'll tell you what they should do is they should put a notification on it. If your car becomes due, they'll send you a text and say, hey, they just issued a recall. Hey, there's my aha moment. Let me get on Shark Tank.
Well, do you know if Carfax reports any recalls?
No, they
would have to.
No, they do. They actually, in their report, because I got all of the stuff for Austin's, in their report it says, was it recalled? Was it done? When and where was it completed?
Okay, that's
good. It's pretty detailed information.
Some other recalls. Overheating may cause the center display to malfunction. Tesla Model 3, Model S, and Model X and Model Y. Isn't that pretty much the entire fleet?
Yeah, that's it.
So that goes for the
It's all electric and it's overheating.
21 to 2022 model years. Kia Forte and Kia Rio. Unsecured steering column.
Oops. Well, I want to go
Martha,
left.
Here, you have the steering wheel.
Turn left here.
I want to go right. Left, right, left, right.
Hyundai Accent is in that same recall. Low-pressure fuel hose may crack and leak on the Hyundai Sonata 2013 to 2014.
Sounds like a thermal event to me.
And pretty much every Mercedes-Benz known to man from the 2006 model year through 2012 is under recall because of brake booster corrosion. And it's major, and they're encouraging you to don't even drive it.
To park your car.
Park your car and have the wrecker come and take it to the Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Yep. I have a friend owns one in this range, and do not expect a rent car. Do not expect them to have the part in stock either.
Don't drive it.
Right. You go. This is an instance where you're going to need to buy another vehicle because they don't want you driving your Mercedes because of the booster rust.
Well, and the corrosion inside the brake booster. And let me just say this, that in Houston, Texas, and the humidity that we've got here, we might not have rust in the fenders of the car, but in something like that, it could be major.
Yeah, you could hear stuff rust in Houston. It happens so fast.
You can hear it. What does that sound like exactly?
David, crinkle it.
Land Rover, new Range Rover for 2022. The front crash sensors may malfunction.
That's what rust sounds like.
That's what rust sounds like. And you ate it earlier today. Thank you,
rusted
David.
from the inside, buddy.
Yep. This is great. Group of 17 Republican attorneys general is suing the EPA over its decision to reissue a waiver allowing California to set its own auto tailpipe rules and zero-emission vehicle mandates that are more stringent than federal standards. The attorneys general, led by Ohio's David Yost, there was a Dennis Yost in the Classics 4, never mind, alleged the Clean Air Act waiver violates the Constitution's equal sovereignty doctrine. Who would know that? In addition to Yost, officials from Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Oklahoma, South Carolina,
and
Texas, Utah, and West Virginia have joined the federal lawsuit, which was filed last week.
And they are fighting for us, Don, because we surely don't want to go under California Air Research Board rules.
No.
Oh, my God.
That's a Johnny Cash thing.
You have people would go into bankruptcy.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get their car to comply.
Yeah.
And then there would be a flood of these vehicles that don't comply with that. I mean, it's a whole different set of rules out on the West Coast.
And when you go in California, every corner is a smog check. They sell these smog checks that you have to do every year. And, you know, as often as you see a restaurant here in Houston, because every corner's got a restaurant on them, there's a smog check in California.
Yeah, and if you don't pass the smog check, it could cost you thousands of dollars.
Unless you qualify for some government program, which is typical of most programs. There's a government program in Texas for their inspection. If you don't pass, there's a government program to earn a certain amount of money back.
You should have
to fix it.
COVID testing and smog.
You don't
testing
want to press that.
No,
you just don't want to go there. Tesla stopped taking orders for its upcoming Cybertruck pickup truck outside North America. Automaker is only taking reservations for the Cybertruck in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Elon has said Tesla will start production of the Cybertruck next year at its plant in Austin. They unveiled the Cybertruck in 2019. It previously aimed to begin production late this year, but has pushed back the plan to the first quarter of 2023, and they will sell every single one that they make.
Before, there won't be any dealer inventory. They're going to sell out. They're going to sell everything out.
Well, there is no dealer here in Texas.
Do you think it's going to the final version is going to look like what he has shown?
My guess is no. My guess is no.
I don't think it'll be as sharp, but I think you could definitely tell.
Some
some
similarities to it.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Because when you look at the Rivian, it's kind of an odd duck. Mm-hmm. When you look at the front
it's a very odd duck.
Well, and Tesla will be the same, as they don't have to have the structure of an internal combustion engine. You don't have to have air going in, air going out.
Tailpipes, all that stuff.
And then where will the prototypes go? I mean, put them in a museum or run them through an auction? What?
No. Prototypes, pre-built stuff. GM's done pre-built stuff.
Yeah.
They go into crash testing. They go into all sorts of other engineering.
And they code the VIN so that they can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, a reminder that if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for a quick break. Back after these messages. Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk.